pues se hacían novios, ¿entiendes? Ni yo le entendía a ella, ni ella a mí. Pero es something about young people that is national or worldwide, I guess. You understand that? Pero nunca tuvimos problemas. Hasta el tren, los trenes, para ir para Tokio o para otro lugar, tenían US Forces, Allied Forces. You couldn't ride the other porque parecían sardinas, iban los japoneses ahí, parados. And yet the GIs get in there just to be chasing girls, you know. Pero no se salían del orden. They respect it.
What su experiencia as a soldier and as a citizen is to serving your country? What are the greatest memories you have?
Well, to me was riding that boat across for 14 days. The first time riding, and I guess anybody's been boat, 2,000 GIs allí. Es la misma, amanece y es el mismo pejito de real estate ahí. Escurece y te dan un news que el barco va así y va a caer a Yokohama o Tokio, donde vaya, ¿verdad? Y te van dando el reporte de cuánto caminaste ayer y así van. Pero to me es muy larga la experiencia. It was something that I didn't like.
¿De qué puerto salió?
Salí de San Francisco. La primera vez. Te vienen a toda clase de parades y toda música y todo te mandan. Te dan buena recepción también cuando vienen para atrás.
Es triste eso, ¿verdad?
Yeah, es triste porque vas viendo el Golden Gate, el bridge, pasas por debajo y vale. This guy is, pues es military, you know.
Was there a time when you didn't feel appreciated?
Yeah. But then I realized that sometimes it was my own doing, my fault. Because they cannot baby you around, that's one thing. There's times que parece que they leave you out of the picture, pero it's a reason. Si te hacen muy soft, pues vas a esperar que te dan soft treatment, ¿verdad? Pero sí, a veces parece que cuando el grade también cuando sales de promotion y todo. Pero no, I think overall me trataron bien.
Usted, señor Carrera, what were your toughest memories? Sus memorias más dificultosas de la experiencia que tuvo usted en servicio.
¿En servicio?
Sí.
¿La triste o más alegre?
Pues que empezamos con las más tristes y luego hacemos las más alegres. Y usted piensa en la más alegre.
Pues como te digo yo, como no se lee ni nada, no le ponía cuidado a las cosas. Yo ahí andaba y me llevaban, pues vamos. Cuando venía también las cosas, pues voy para mi casa, pero cuando llegué aquí a New York, no lo creí.
Sobre ese particular de la educación y que cuando salimos para afuera del servicio, ¿verdad? Yo tenía hermanos, por eso estoy hablando, ¿verdad? Sí. Que salieron, yo no me salí, pero ellos salieron. Había un club que el gobierno formó, así along with the GI Bill. El GI Bill no comenzó con World War II, comenzó con Roosevelt. Él lo hizo el 41. Pero no lo puso, lo tenía en plan, nomás en plan.
Era el plan, sí.
Yeah.
Pero hasta que el doctor García, ¿verdad?
De Corpus, ¿dónde
sí,
era?
De Corpus.
Yeah.
Héctor García.
Pero la cosa que quería decir es que muchos veteranos, había ese club de 52-20, 52 weeks of $20 a week. Eso, así le puse, ¿te acuerdas de eso, verdad? Que iban a la escuela y muchos tomaban mucho. Más venían y cambiaban el cheque en la cantina. Aquí era cantina donde andamos limpiando ahí. Yo que ustedes se acuerdan.
Jesse Place.
Jesse's Place.
Sí.
Bueno, el veterano agarró el nombre, por eso ahora que queremos enlist veterans para veterans War, nos titulan borrachos. No, ustedes van a emborrachar y las mujeres, esposas no quieren que el esposo pertenezca a ese club, porque tenemos todavía ya se ha desborrado un poco ya. Pero we have that code name. drunks. Y en esta escuela que les daba el gobierno, les enseñaban a hacer muchas cosas. Pero venían los policías y cambiaban el cheque, ya lo debían todo, pero comenzaron a tomar mucho. There was a lot of drinking. Y pues muchos lograron, muchos no. Muchos son maestros, son ingenieros, son they took advantage, pero todos tuvimos la oportunidad, no nomás uno. Well, so you cannot blame the system.
Sure. Señor Pérez, estuvimos platicando ahorita que usted vino para el 94, más o menos. Conviva con nosotros su experiencia en the service. Y usted dijo algo bien interesante que caught my ear. Que dijo, I should have joined these men a long time ago.
Una vez cuando estaban,
Comparta con nosotros.
se trataba de los deformes que me estaban sacando de la fábrica para no ir al ejército. Pero me dijeron que yo tenía que ir, ¿verdad? De todas maneras, después de 3 veces. Dije, no, pues entonces yo me decidí a ir. Y usted hizo la pregunta que por qué, por ejemplo, este señor que es RA o Regular Army, le dicen, entró al ejército, ¿verdad? Mire, en mi experiencia es un honor estar uniforme, de ser soldado y defendiendo su país, el país más grande y más poderoso del mundo ahorita. Es un honor cuando uno trae ese uniforme. Para mí así fue. Es un honor for everybody. I bet you feel the same way when you know you're a soldier and you belong to the greatest world powerful in the world country. It's an honor to serve. Por eso yo creo que debería ellos. Although I was drafted, but I didn't mind it. I still wanted to go and serve my country. I don't care. It's all right. I was here obligated to defend this country since this is my country. I'm an American citizen and serves the country, serves me, and I serve the country. So that's good. That's one of the reasons a lot of people go. To me, it was an honor to serve. Sure, I went through experiences que yo tuve miedo, que I hate to be there, como dicen ellos, que tuvieron miedo, and I hated it because although he was RA, but he hated at moments. Esas cosas pasan cuando está uno en peligro su vida. Por ejemplo, yo cuando estaba en el ejército, que estaban bombardeando y eso, y nosotros en foxholes and all that, it's when you hate that, to be there. But then, after that, overall, es un honor para mí servir este país y defenderlo. Y aquí en Elsa, pues me preguntó también que por qué había venido aquí a Ed House, pues los relativos que tengo aquí. I had a good experience when I was in the service. Bad ones and good ones. I don't have to tell you that. Everybody that went in the service knows about these things. That's good. I like that. I'm proud to be a veteran and member of this 73. You don't call it chapter. Post.
Where did you learn your sense of duty?
My what?
Your sense of duty to your country and to be proud to
Where did I
serve.
learn?
Yeah, who did you learn that from?
Well, it's I didn't learn in school. It's by experience. You see this country what it does for other peoples and all over the world, and not only that, why did so many people come to this country? So it's something here in this country that everybody's proud and like to be in, and they're willing to give their life for it once they're here because they know they're different. Por eso viene toda gente. That's why this country is composed of a lot of foreigners. They come over here to this country. It's freedom, a lot of freedom of speech, sort of speaking. Watch out what you say. No. And freedom of speech and the press, traveling, and all that.
Did you have any friends that left for Mexico when they were drafted? I mean, or did everyone? Was it a kind of? Did you know anybody que salieron para México para?
No. I don't I don't know. I was living here in Mississippi, you know, Park Ave, you know, in Mississippi. I was living in Mississippi. My father was a sharecropper and working for Hacienda. I didn't like the work. That's when I got drafted in the Second World War, which I didn't pass to go to the service. But then when our Koreans started, I was in Waukegan, Illinois, already working for the chemical plant, Abbott Laboratories. And then that's when they gave me the deferments not to go. That's when the Korean War started. And then I decided to go. Although I was drafted, I didn't want nobody to hold me no more. I wanted to go serve my country. So that's what I did.
She asked a good question. What's your name?
Alicia.
Alicia. About somebody running or taking off when the time that they needed the most here. We had some people in this town that took off.
You remember?
They didn't have no sense of duty or no patriotism or whatever you want to call it. They just left and went for the duration of the war and then came back. Why he come back? Just like he said, why so many people come to this country, and why those people that ran at the time they needed it most come back.
But where did you learn your sense of duty? I mean, why was it never a question for you to leave?
Well, the country was in trouble at that time, and I figured that they needed to defend it, and I was able and willing. Also, I was not the only one, and because I was in service, women took off their nice dress and everything and put some blue jeans and they got torched and working like a man. Same sense of duty they had because the country was in trouble. And you have to do either run or stay.
Now, did you learn that from your parents?
Well, my parents was honest people, poor people, but honest. And I guess you can say that we learned it from him because he always taught us not to owe anybody nothing. If it was in the means of paying off or doing what we promised that we do. Like if I tell you I'll be there to cut your grass or mow your ground or whatever, I'm gonna be there. In other words, have people believe you that you're real. If you're not real, they know that too.
Oiga, Isabel Carrión, cuando ustedes andaban abroad y lo regresaron, ¿qué son los tiempos más importantes que ustedes se acuerden en esta comunidad?
Bueno, todos han sido importantes porque as long as they bring jobs, opportunities, and people are not afraid to work. They got afraid to work when they start getting something for nothing. The moment you give people something and don't cost them nothing, they're going to slack off and they're not going to be any good for you or the country.
Is there a time when you had a sense that esto es lo que está pasando ahorita? Is there a time, ¿me entiende, in history donde usted vio eso que estaba pasando?
Sí.
¿Cuándo, más o menos?
Well, yo me acuerdo de los 40s, in the 40s. Aquí we had the biggest packing shed in the whole valley, including Rio Grande City.
I think it was the whole world.
The whole world, maybe.
Sí.
I don't know. I haven't.
Porque aquí las latas que estaban haciendo, usted de esas comía ahí en el front.
Right. Pero lo que quiero decir yo que esa gente ocupaba gente, mucha gente. Aquí, como ahorita es sábado, right? At this time, maybe afternoon, you start seeing people going out to town. To town, it means maybe the bar, maybe downtown. They didn't know HUB. They had Piggly Wiggly or something else.
Sí.
Anyway, I'm telling you that what I remember. I might leave something out, but if a young man had 50 cents in his pocket, and his girlfriend is gonna want a Coke or something, that's all you could afford. Coke was 10 cents. Hamburger was 10 cents a time too. And you could probably afford to buy her a hamburger. Nowadays, she wants a diamond and things change. Things change a lot. But the most visible thing that you work for your money and you was not crazy about spending it out in one place. The respect has been the key word for every generation. If you respect others, they're going to respect you. If you get a bad credit, They don't want to see you. They don't want to talk to you. So I would say you bring that in yourself. The respect, the worth, being glad that you live in the. What else they got that Edinburgh don't have? But Elsa had more jobs than anybody else. So you guys, what bring you here to interview us? We did what we did and we forgot about it, right? But it's good for history. And I'm glad of you guys doing that. And I'm glad that he served, because that means that in a different time, but in a different place, but he served. See, United States has been in hot areas all this time. Ya ve lo que pasó con USS Cole, el barco.
Sí, sí.
Now I hope you all understand why so many sailors, young people like you, they didn't have nothing to die for. I mean, they didn't want to die. They didn't expect to die. And yet I hear the parents not complaining one time. He says, my daughter went because she felt that urge to serve. The payoff was sad, but military is sad sometimes.
So aquí en Elsa, is a real.
Come back to the same thing. That's a small token of appreciation, naming the street. And a while ago you asked about problems with racial problems or things like that. We did have those. They didn't serve Mexican people o nosotros, la raza, donde quiera. If this young lady wasn't experienced what I experienced in Lubbock, Texas, and places like that, Fredericksburg, places that they didn't even want you to stop and gas up your car.
Can you share with us one of those experiences? Do you feel comfortable doing that?
With who?
Something that happened in Lubbock?
¿Qué clase de cosas le pasaron?
You mean in school?
En Lubbock, lo que está diciendo ahorita.
Oh yeah.
Discrimination.
Discrimination, and this is just to happen to me. But what you read also happened, even though you didn't see it. That writing, the print is going to tell you what happened, right? This is the purpose of writing newspaper. Okay. We had a small daughter. I just got back from Korea, and we was going to be stationed in Lubbock, Texas. Right outside the Texas Tech University. There's an air base there. And my wife, it's getting pretty dark, and we was traveling, brand new pickup, and I had a little trailer house, a little small. And my wife says, don't you think we ought to gas up? It's getting dark, and the wind, northern winds coming getting cold. I said, yeah, you're right. I said, the first store or gas station, there was no gas station like they got them now, modern and all that, A little store, square sign. But anyway, it's gas. We need the gas, so I said, let's do that. Fill it up. That way, if it gets cold, too windy or something, we stop. The first store we stopped, they didn't want to sell me coffee. They didn't want to sell me milk for the little baby because I was Mexican. Now this is no lie.
¿Y usted andaba en su uniforme o no?
No andaba en uniforme. Tenías que usar un uniforme, pero cuando estabas on base or in town, no, I was traveling. I was brand new going to that post.
Do you think that if you were wearing your uniform, que lo hubieran tratado igual?
Some people wouldn't doubt it, yeah. So they respect. Some of them, they have no pride. You asked pride a while ago. Someone could care less if you put a general's uniform.
What did they say to you?
He says, I'm sorry, we don't serve no Mexicans. Or I said, well, I wanted to go. He said, no. I said, wait. I don't want you to go.
So, but in spite of that, what I hear from you is that you're very proud to be an American.
I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world.
So what gives you the strength to be proud of your country when there's so much differences between people?
Well, they bring us to the scriptures. The scriptures tell us that forgive them because they know not what they do. At that time, I was not a believer, but I read the Bible, and also, how do I want you to forgive me when I can forgive you? And I looked at that thing. I didn't feel like I'm gonna tear his doors up and break a window. I said, well, that's your place, and you don't want to serve me. Thank you. I went about a half mile. There was another store. He didn't say that. So, depend on you. If you lose your cool and start fighting or something like that, for what? Then you really go to jail. No, I took it. I swallowed it. Took it.
To me, despite the fact that they discriminated against us a lot, as Mexican people, more years ago than now, still, people can make a living in this country a lot easier than they can in other countries. That's one of the reasons maybe they, like you said, they make them proud to live in this country, because the easier way to, even though you go through a lot of sour situations there, like that, where you get discriminated against you, but they're still working and supplying the food for the table in your house for your family. So that's one reason, in my opinion. I don't know what other reason. It's easier to make a living, support a family here than it is in any other country.
I hate to bring that up.
Not any other country, maybe.
But the thing about it, in Lubbock, Texas, that's a dry county. They don't sell. They didn't sell then liquor, beer, or anything. But they brought it in from other town, and the judges knew about it. Okay, but what got me that was the sign that I saw in a restaurant one day: "No Mexicans or dogs." What would have you done then? I ask you. How you feel right now that we're talking that face to face? What does that feeling give you?
That bad feeling in your bottom of your stomach.
But that's real. I'm not telling. He knows.
Yeah,
He knows.
In Mississippi, they say, up north too. Let's say that people go to, they got different bars that they got here. Over there, even a family. Your daughter, maybe he go with his wife and all, and everybody sits together and drink, But there've been few Mexican fights, You know how they are, Mexican fights. They go over there, start fighting, right away they put sign, no Mexicans allowed. I mean, what do they do when whites fight? They don't put no whites allowed, especially all this, you know what I mean? So we went through a lot of that discrimination. I seen that happen in a restaurant, like you said. The colored people sit in one side of the restaurant, and the whites and over there, and sometimes they say no Mexicans allowed, or very, very.
Señor Carrión, usted cuando él estaba diciendo eso, usted también dijo sí. ¿Que a usted le ha pasado de situaciones esas también? Como cuando no le ayudaron a él en la que le dijeron que no.
Ya he salido, como papá iba muchas las chicas para el lado de Oklahoma, en Chile ahí, pero no fue en Chile, fue en Oklahoma. Entré a una cantina a tomarme una cerveza. No te podemos decir por qué, porque es mexicano. Y te voy a traer el traje de edad. Y él dijo, ¿no? Bueno, está bueno, no me venda. Entonces me salí para afuera y le hablé de ley. Le dije, ¿por qué no puedo traer mayo aquí? Y yo, pues no sé. Y pues ahí dije que no puedo tomar porque soy mexicano. Pues soy mexicano, la sangre, pero yo, mira que indica. Y pues yo no sé nada. Yo no sé nada. Le dije, pues entonces, ¿qué?
Before you close the subject on that line,
Sí, así
I was going to ask this young ladies here, well, all of you, how would you describe that incident in Montgomery, Alabama, when they had to use the troops to escort young people to college? Now, what does that give you? Now I'm asking you now. What does that make you think?
¿Sabe qué? Yo estaba chiquito cuando pasó eso, así sé de eso porque nosotros también tuvimos esas experiencias cuando nos fuimos de aquí para las universidades. Y ya estamos hablando de los 80s, donde no te decían no porque eres mexicano, pero donde no cabías en ninguna parte, ¿me entiendes? Y donde Y yo me acuerdo, yo me fui de aquí el 84 para la universidad en Texas. Diferente situación que esos de Montgomery, Alabama, porque ellos necesitaban policías. Ya no necesitaban los policías o la Army en ese entonces, pero como quiera, en una universidad de 46,000 personas, nomás había como 2,000 mexicanos. Y tenías que hallarte la raza para sobrevivir. So it was hard. Y también donde hay veces que
Tienes que swallow.
tienes que swallow it, no porque no la vas a hacer, pero porque muchas veces, aunque estés bien preparado, como quiera te van a decir, ¿sabes qué? Tú nomás estás aquí por affirmative action. Tú eres mexicano, tú no traes lo que nosotros traemos, ¿me entiendes? Así es que I can't speak to the Alabama, pero me imagino que las experiencias que nosotros tuvimos, que pues cuando estás solo, ¿me entiendes? And we're talking about the 1980s. And we're talking about, our ancestors aquí que have given lives for this country.
Well, I guess in your case, you was young, you were still young, pero nosotros teníamos un double reason for not accepting that, and we did because the sense of humor, sense of patriotism, because of uniform. He knows, and it's triste, it's sad when the white people are across the street is black people. Why couldn't they serve the same flag?
Sí, y sabe qué, señor Bernal, para mí lo que dijo el señor Pérez hace ratito, que this is the best country in the world. All foreigners come to this country. Yo todavía hay veces que me siento de foreigner. ¿Me entiende? And this is in spite of all the work que la raza ha hecho por este país. Así es que, I absolutely admire the sense of duty que tienen ustedes.
Ahora, una cosa les encargo a ustedes, a todos. Don't let that stop. You're in the position to help us out, to live out what we couldn't do. We did serve the government, serve our nation. Pero ustedes están agarrándola aquí. Un día pueden ser abogados, pueden ser alguien que representa una causa injusta. I didn't say justa. Si yo hago algo por ir a robar, es justo que me castiguen, porque no debo andar robando. Pero si ando pobrecitamente aquí, no le hago mal a nadie, ¿por qué me van a...? No por ser mexicano, ¿no? Don't let your guard down. Study or do what you have to do, and don't be afraid to face it with words.
But I think we understand very well that we couldn't be studying where we are, and we couldn't do. I mean, my parents wouldn't be married. My mother's white and my father's Mexican. If it hadn't been for you, all of you fighting for us.
Well, we did that, but what we get in the point with debating is that we had a little trouble. Besides the bullets over there, people here accepting us. ¿Qué le decían a los Vietnam veterans? Yo estuve 3 años en Vietnam. Le decían baby killers. Korean War, they didn't want you. Remember? Unwanted war. They not even recognized because of United Nations war. And yet, we lost 50-some thousand people. Those guys didn't want to die for just nothing. Es lo que les encargo a ustedes, que no les olvide eso. Olvídense de nosotros si quieren. Que no se olviden lo que hicimos.
Keep going ahead. Keep making this world better, this country better. It's up to you guys tonight, young generation, to fight for freedom and equal opportunities and everything, and educate yourself. That's what he probably was saying, which is that's part of our better this what we're talking about, being discriminated and all that. When you educate ourselves, that's the basic thing for everything.
Y se me que es tiempo de ir echarnos un lonchecito con el grupo.
Yeah.
Pero le quiero preguntar al señor
Ahí está el
Carrión.
grupo.
Sí, ahí está. No, allá están. Señor Carrión, si usted tuviera una oportunidad de darle un mensaje a jóvenes ahorita, y usted tuvo una experiencia que muy poquitas personas en este mundo tuvieron cuando le pegó ahí en Normandy, con tanta confusión. Si usted tuviera un mensaje para darle a los jóvenes ahorita, que muchas veces no están en Normandy, pero están viendo mucha confusión, ¿qué mensaje les diera a usted?
Bueno,
¿O qué consejo?
Es como te digo yo anduve, pero lo que no sé explicarme ni me entiendo yo mismo, ¿verdad? Lo que hice. Y pues para explicarme con él, pues la vergüenza me da porque no sé ni hablar. ¿Me entiendes? Es como el inglés pues lo hablo lírico, el español lírico. No más que, bueno, por eso yo mismo me comprendo que pues no le puedo dar razón, o no, palabras, no, me siento, tú sabes, débil, no me expreso las cosas, no tengo palabras para decir.
¿Pero qué es lo que siente?
No, pues yo nomás que agarren su carrera bien y que se peguen a la gente que entiende, como le diré, que se pueden interpretar bien, a que mejor a mí ¿qué les digo yo? No tengo palabras para hablarles.
¿Por qué cree usted que es la razón que usted vivió esos días? Porque hubo muchos que no lo hicieron.
¿Por qué volví? Pues yo nomás. Porque pues yo miraba y yo vi más nuevo y para allá para la nueva quedé solo de vuelta y ahí viene el más nuevo y yo ahí, ¿cómo crees que cómo me sentía? No me sentía orgulloso porque estaba bien. Pues sí sabía que se podía de un rato para otro. De un rato para otro, lo que pensaba nomás. Pero bueno, lo doy gracias a Dios también porque aquí estoy.
Nosotros también le damos gracias a Dios, señor Guerrero. Muchas gracias.
¿Quieren comenzar a reconocer un poco?
Mom, like come out on any channel. Become a star. Otherwise.
Richard, come join us. Temporada.
You look very well for Sí, ahorita la...
Unos cuantos platitos. Sí.
He had a throat cancer.
No puedo ni andar.
No, pero ahí anda limpiando. Con la palomilla, ¿verdad?
You have another picture. It'd be interesting if we could
Yeah.
I mean, out of state.
Give it some time. Give it some time.
Oh my gosh, it's already one.
And then I have to keep on going up,
Just,
because then I go over and I know.
what do you think would work? Are we doing different people at each time?
That's why I'm responsible.
Is that, there's the same person? Yeah. But I mean, like, oh. I know that the one especially for the children, it may not be I would just
And driving a truck, it was a better way of drinking.
probably 1 o'clock. Depending on what's happening later, like if we're not going to be too busy, I may go like to my parents.
I would get time and a half, and double time for working Sundays. Time and a half, and anytime for working over the hour. You want to make it 75 cents an hour? I'm talking about 1987.
Good luck to the end.
Excuse me. Yes.
But on the other hand, you know, the breeze down here. I can't even begin to describe the traffic.
It should be good one. Yeah, it'll be me.
This is peak season for traveling to the Holy Land. They're advising people not to go because of the umbrella. It's there and on the Holy Land.
I understand they broke the truce. I was in the Holy Land 2.5 years ago, and from one day to the next, the U.S. called a tourist advisory. Y andaba así de gente un día y el otro día ya no había nadie en las calles, americanos turistas. Pero muchas veces más la propaganda que hacen. Because it was pretty safe. You know, we walked through the holy city, the old city that's behind walls.
Jerusalem.
Yeah,
I'm
Jerusalem.
gonna go to Christina to
Had no
connect
problem.
with you, so I'll hook up with you later. I'll find out where you guys are. What's the plan for the afternoon? What's the plan for the afternoon? Back in the high school? Take with you? Are you, should we wait for you?
Where are you heading?
To her grandfather's. No,
I'll meet you there in 5 minutes.
I'll try.
Okay, let me go with you.
Not exactly. You have done
What time are you going
Depending on how much the wheat comes.
Because for college, I need to do community service, you know. So if y'all ever need anything, I'd love to help y'all out.
That is the property of the vehicle. Maybe like this or write a book or something like that.
Ya acabo de vender la
They can be Sunday fall school.
And it's really important.
Yeah. They can be fall school.
Es muy importante para los jóvenes porque no se dan cuenta.
They go, excuse me. They go with us.
I'll take the outlet and the
Yo me he parado de he visto muchos buenos ahí. Están con Paco, están pasando el tiempo. Sí. Así es que gusto verlos. Voy a despedirme de mi commander. Y se lo agradezco si me puede considerar algo. Okay.
After I retired, yes. That's one reason. Having relatives here. My dad passed away here. That was buried over here in 88. That cemetery. Sentimental reasons. Buried, relatives, all kinds of stuff like that. Weather. Nothing to do with we moving here. After 42 years and working it as a long time, I never got used to cold weather.
Tengo que ir a ver los Yankees. Chicho, nos vemos. Keep up the good work. You can do it. Ahí nos vemos al final. Ahí nos vemos todos. Con permiso.
I just wondered, because I remember I have these memories when I was younger, we always used to go to, my grandparents were from Chihuahua. So every year, every family vacation, meant that we all got in the car and we drove all the way from Chicago down to Chihuahua. Every year. It's a real
Para ver, pues no sé a qué horas, dónde vamos a ir de aquí.
I met a few of them myself while I was working in there. I had one boy that was in college.
So that's why it's also extra important because, like, we haven't studied it at all.
War in Korea studied the language. And then you stay there. We stopped playing.